Recording in progress, just in case something intelligent is said. So who here has either heard of or read the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss? Anyone heard of that? Put a 1 in the chat box if you've heard of that book or read that book before. Armand, Yukiko. Okay, Sam, Josie, great. All right, so 4, 5 of you. All right, so 5 of you. So for the rest of you, I'm going to play in fantasy land that you're all paying attention, even though you're not. For the rest of you, I'll just assume that you haven't read or heard of the book, but you should read the book, or if you do audio, hear the book called Never Split the Difference. Never Split the Difference is from Chris Voss. Chris Voss was a hostage negotiator, which, you know, pretty intense. And he wrote a book about negotiating, which is what we do in sales every single day. So the reason I bring that up is he has a company called Black Swan Group, and they release blogs and different materials and things like that in regards to negotiating, sales tips, stuff along those lines. So I found one, I didn't find one, it was sent to me because I subscribed to it, for real estate agents. And what the title of this is the 6 biggest negotiation mistakes real estate agents make. So he created this specifically for real estate agents and negotiating. So I went through it. I thought there was a lot of really good material in there. I made some notes in there, kind of how we can relate it to our business specifically. So we're going to review that, and then I'll talk about that and hopefully learn a couple decent things throughout that process. So without further ado, let's jump into these 6 particular points, these negotiation tactics that real estate agents are failing at that's hurting their business. He didn't say if these are written down in any particular order of importance, so we're just going to go through them as the way they're written and then discuss it as so. So mistake number 1 in negotiation for real estate. Mistake number 1 is this: not believing that you're worth it. Not believing that you're worth it. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that a good real estate agent is worth the commission they charge? Do you think a good?
Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. Here's some absolutelys. I see some yeses. If you don't want to unmute, put a 1 in the chat box or yes in the chat box. Do you think a real estate agent is worth the money that they charge? Okay, great. I'm glad that we agree. Now, do you think that some real estate agents are not worth the money that they charge?
Yes.
Some of them, yes.
How's it define it? Yes, yes, yes. Some real estate agents aren't worth the money that they charge, right? So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you honestly believe that you are worth the commission that you're charging?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Well, I'm glad you're saying it to me. And let's, you know, but that was only like 4 of you. So we'll we'll work on the rest from there. All right. You have to believe that you're worth it. One of the biggest negotiating mistakes real estate agents make is they don't believe that they are worth it. Okay. Now, I also agree that good real estate agents are, as the line goes, worth their weight in gold. I mean, is real estate their largest financial transaction for most of it?
Yes.
Most of them?
Yes.
Yes. And is real estate a pretty stressful transaction?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
be honest, right? It's pretty stressful. Okay.
Yes.
Even if you're in real estate and you're buying or selling a home, you're still stressed out.
Yes.
Right. So you're helping people navigate one of the most stressful situations of their lives, their biggest financial asset. We should be having that. We should have that feeling that we're worth everything that we're charging. I remember one of the commission objection handlers this is from a long time ago, some of you might remember this, was, gosh, Mr. and Mrs. So at the end of the day, there's gonna be a check cut, you're gonna get 94% of it, and I'm only gonna get 6 of it. You know, just to kind of explain to them that I'm really not making that much money for navigating your most stressful and biggest financial transaction. Okay. Now, but here's the thing. Most real estate agents are programmed to believe that they will lose business if they charge what they deem to be a full fee. They'll lose business because there's always somebody cheaper. Well, let me ask you something. Can you always find a cheaper hotel than the Ritz-Carlton?
Yes.
Now, if you go to the Ritz-Carlton and you say, hey, look, I have a quote here from Motel 6. And Motel 6 says they'll give me a room with a full bed, color TV, shower, the whole thing for $100 a night. Is the Ritz-Carlton going to say, all right, fine, we'll cut our fee. We'll give you $100 a night for the room? Are they going to do that?
No way.
Oh,
No way.
No way.
No. Now, if you don't believe me, I encourage you to try it because I would love just to see that situation go down. Please record yourself doing that. Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Because they know that they're worth it. Same thing if you were to go to Mastro's, right? Steakhouse in Beverly Hills, or pick whatever steakhouse, and you go, well, I went to Denny's and here's a coupon from Denny's. They'll give me steak and potatoes for $12.50. Your steak alone is $50. Mastro's is not going to say, all right, fine. It's not going to happen. But yet a lot of real estate agents, the client goes, well, I talked to Joe Smith, and Joe Smith said they would do it for 3% total. And what do most real estate agents do?
6%.
They cut their commission. They cut their commission because they're afraid to lose the deal. So instead of believing that they're worth what they're charging, whatever it is that you're charging, they try to cut the commission to match Joe Smith, who lowered their commission to 3%. And essentially you're on a race to the bottom. I want you to write this down. There is no reason to lower your fee. There is no reason to lower your fee. During the initial conversation, a prospective client will test your ability to negotiate on your behalf. Let me ask you this. When you call a for sale by owner or an expired, the script says, I want to apply for the job of selling your home. That's what the script says, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're applying for the job, is it fair to assume then that the seller is looking at you as this is an audition to see who's going to get my listing? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yes.
An audition. You're auditioning for the job. I wanted to apply. Okay, great. Here's the application process. We are going to interview a number of other people who are also applying for the job. You show me what you got.
Yes.
Part of this is the negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
They're testing your ability to negotiate on their behalf. So if you're willing to cut your fee, isn't it fair to assume that they're going to go, well, if she's willing to cut their fee, they're going to be willing to cut my price.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to assume?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you're auditioning here. So if now a seller now thinks, well, gosh, if they're willing to cut their fee, which means, who knows, they might be willing to cut my price. Do I really want them handling this for me? No.
No.
Which is funny because doesn't the script for cutting your commission specifically say if they don't have the courage to stand up to you regarding their own worth, how could they possibly stand up for the price we set on your home?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anyone heard that script before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Has anybody used that script? Rosalinda, didn't you use that script the other day and it worked? Wasn't it you who told me that?
Yes.
There you go. Good job. You're auditioning. So first things first, believe that you're worth it because you are. If you need to be convinced, envision future scenarios to prepare for the next time you discuss fees. Now, write this down. This is a very powerful quote. Nobody rises to the occasion. Nobody rises to the occasion. We all fall to our highest level of preparation. Nobody rises to the occasion. We all fall to the highest level of preparation. Picturing yourself as a full service, full fee agent prepares you for those conversations. So part one of negotiating is you actually have to believe you're worth it. And I used to have a boss that would say, you know, his comments of, you know, you would be, yes, I'm full service, until somebody says, will you cut your commission in half? And you say, tell you what, I'll do you one better. I'll cut it by 75%. Don't do that to yourself. There's no reason to lower your fee if you're actually doing the things that you say you're going to do. Now, here's a tip. Here's a tip to find out if you're really worth everything that you charge. Does everybody have a plan of action? Does everybody have a plan of action that they follow?
We do. I don't know about other outside agents.
I don't know. I'm asking the question. Does everybody have a
they
plan of
don't.
action that they follow?
I do, yes.
Yes.
So Abigail, Tyrone, Gian, Hilda, anyone else?
I do.
Okay. All right. Good. Good, good, good. So here's how you find out if you're worth it. Go through that plan of action and ask yourself, do I actually do all the things on my plan of action? If you do, it's pretty easy to figure out that you're worth it. Now, if you go through that plan of action and go, I don't do half of these things. Okay. Well, now you're giving the seller some ammo to decide whether or not you're worth it. Do everything you're going to do on the plan of action. Pretty simple to see that you're worth it. All right. Number two, mistake number two. Failing to address your fee up front. Failing to address your fee up front. So let me ask you a question. Is 90, I don't know, let's go with 95%. I'll be conservative, 90%. Is it fair to say that 90% of sellers are going to base their decision somewhat on the commission?
Yeah, probably.
They're at least going to look at it, right? No,
Yes.
90% of sellers are at least going to say, well, how much do you charge? Let me look at the fees. Most of them are going to do that, correct? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So if you know they're going to look at it, don't try to hide it. Don't pray that they don't bring it up. I'm just not going to bring it up. And let's see if I can sneak this one by. They're going to look at it. They're most likely not going to sign without at least looking at it. Even people that you've worked with before, they're going to say, all right, well, let me just kind of review the paperwork, make sure everything's all, you know, good and all these other different things. Get it out of the way. Get the conversation done with. Get the commission out of the way. When do we suggest they find out about your commission? When's the first time they should find out about your commission?
Pre-listing.
The pre-listing packet. But we get this question all the time. Well, Robert, do I really send the price and the commission in the pre-listing package? Yes. Well, what if they don't like the commission? Well, if they don't like it in your package, why do you think they would like it when you get there? If they're not going to like it, they're not going to like it. But at least you have some time to know that they're not going to like it before you get to the presentation. At least you're giving it to them up front. Is it hard to stay upset for 48 hours? Is it hard to stay upset for 48 hours? Realistically, on like a minor thing? Yes? No?
Yes. Yes.
Probably.
If some of you maybe have some issues that you need to resolve, if you're not sure, like, I don't know, Robert, I'm angry for like 4 to 5 weeks, 48 hours. Bastards.
Probably one
Right?
day or less than a day.
But this is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens when you hold off on the commission. You send a pre-listing package. They get it. This is what the seller's going to do. Read through it, whatever you charge, right? Whatever you put on there, 5, 6%, 7, whatever it may be. They look at this and go, 6%? This person crazy in 2022 with all these billboards and all these people offering 1 and 2 and 3, 6? This is crazy, right? That's their mentality. Now, the next day goes by, they're looking at this, they're here, now they're calming down, they're calming down, they're calming down. So then you come over, by the time you come over, they've gone from they're crazy to, all right, we're going to discuss this commission. We're going to figure this out. Now I have a shot. They've already got it up front. There's no surprises. Okay, I know you're upset about that. You know you're upset about that. Let's go over it. As opposed to hiding it, going to the listing presentation, and then at the very end saying, great, all we need to do is sign here. And oh, how much do you charge? 6%. 6%. Now I'm at the dinner table when they're at their highest level of annoyance. So what are the chances I'm going to get a listing signed when they're at their highest level of annoyance with me? Probably not very good, right? So let's limit the annoyance by getting that out of the way up front. Plus, let's be honest. If they're not willing to play the game, maybe you don't want to go on that listing presentation anyways. You call back and confirm, I saw your commission's 5%. I am not paying a penny over 1% total. I'll just sell it myself. Okay. What do you want? What do you want me to do? I'm not going to go there and take a 0.5% for myself and 0.5% for the buyer's agent. So get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. One of the things Chris Voss even suggests is that just being really upfront. Now, you take this for what it is. This is more of a driver personality. But he says you can even let them know up front, hey, look, we have a potential sticking point that I want to put on the table right now. My fee is 6%. I'm paying the selling agent 2.5%. So, I mean, his thoughts is even, let's just get it out of the way. Now, you don't necessarily have to take that approach, but if you put that in your pre-listing package, what you're going to charge, they're going to figure it out. They're going to want to know. Don't try to get it out of there. But by doing this, what you're doing, okay, psychologically, what you're doing with the seller by confronting this head on is you prove that you're a calm, fearless negotiator who's not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to, this is what it is, this is who I am, and I'm totally confident sending this to you, knowing that you're driving by billboards that show that you can get a listing agent for 1%. That's how confident I am. That's how fearless I am that I'm willing to just send this to you. Okay. The mentality should always be, now here's the thing, here should be the unspoken message in the tone of your voice. There should be the unspoken message in the tone of your voice when you're talking about commission. I'm solid. I'm fearless. I get along with people. And I'm worth the full price. That should be what's the unspoken message in the tone of your voice. So here's what I mean. They bring up commission. Well, how much do you charge? Well, I charge 6%, and I'm going to take 3. We're going to give the buyer's agents 3. No confidence in that. Or my all-time favorite. Well, I charge 6%, but it's negotiable. Like, you just openly tell them that right away. I charge 5%, but it's negotiable. Go back and listen to some of these listing presentation videos that we've had in the past with Hal and Kristen and all these other different people. It's, I charge this, boom, boom, boom. It's just, so you got to watch the tone of your voice when you're talking about the commission as well. But get it out of the way. They're going to ask about it. Don't hide it. All right. Mistake number 3, not understanding your value. Mistake number 3 in negotiation is not understanding your value. Okay. So what some agents try to do when they're showing their value is they explain their marketing strategy, they explain their different credentials, they explain all their recent sales. They explain about all these other different explaining you're losing. In other words, most people are not guided by facts, logic, and reason. What are most people guided by? They're not
Emotions.
guided by facts, logics, or reason. What do most people make decisions on?
Emotion?
Emotion.
Yeah.
Motion.
Most people make decisions based on emotion and not just expressives. You know, some of you think, well, of course, expressives are highly emotional. Amiables are emotional. No, even drivers, even analyticals that are low emotion make decisions mainly based on emotion. Now, they might need facts, logics, and reasons and stuff like that with the process, but it's mainly emotional. So getting your highest level of commission isn't about explaining why you're worth it. It's understanding your value. There's a high probability that your marketing plan and your credentials probably aren't much different than the next agent on paper. Would you agree with that? That on paper, your marketing plan and credentials are pretty similar to what other agents are presenting. Would you agree with that?
Mhm.
Let me help you. Yes.
100%.
Not to say that you don't have a great marketing plan, but on paper, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. Do you ever notice, for those of you that are on social media, that every agent's number one?
I noticed that.
How is that possible? Every agent's number one. Okay, so how do I compete with that? Well, I could show, well, look, no, I really am number one. Well, but they said they're number one too. So I don't know. Okay, well, I guess on paper, I can't compete with that. Every agent's number one. Every agent, they don't ever put the year. They put award winner. They got some award. They don't put the year. Might have been an award from 2003, 2006, 2007. They don't put the year. Well, yeah, but this person is a national honoree for, you know, the top 1% of so-and-so agents. Win. I don't know. So it's hard to compete marketing wise with people that can just put anything they want, and you can't really argue with it. Well, what do you mean you're the number one agent of what? Well, I'm the number one agent of 22240 Cohasset. You're right. God damn it, you're right. You really are. That's true. I mean, so it's like you can't argue with the marketing. Say, I guess they are number one in that particular address, you know. And then on paper, everyone's got these really colorful flyers. I do all this marketing. It's going to go out to all these websites and all these other different things. So it's tough on paper to show that your marketing is so much better. Okay. It's really tough to do. And then when you talk about credentials, do you think every real estate agent tells the truth about their sales history?
No,
Say it.
No,
No.
no
No.
way.
I don't think so.
No. So your credentials could be, well, I sold 10 homes last year. And realistically, 10 homes is a lot of homes to sell in real estate. But you're going up against someone who put that they've sold 50. Well, how is that possible? Well, I have a lot of off-market properties. You know what I mean? Like, how can you can't compete? So my point of all this is when you're marketing plan and credentials, it's tough to show your real value. Okay. So let's talk about this. Your value might not be in the marketing plan. It's the fact that you're helping clients navigate one of their most stressful experiences and end up in a happier, more fulfilling place. Because after all, just about anything can go wrong in a real estate transaction. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
So when a client has already decided what the future looks like, what difference is a marketing plan? So what is one thing we need to know in order to get off the marketing plan and really get emotional with the client? What do we need to know? What do we need to know to be able to get emotional with the client?
Their true motivation.
That's it. Their
Yes,
true motivation. I'm not talking about just motivation. I'm talking about deep, true motivation. If you want to get emotional with the client, to get emotional decisions, you need to know why they're selling, why they're buying, why now, what's important about right now, what's significant about that price, where are you going to go, how soon do you want to be there, is your family on board with this, are the kids on board with this, how important is it? When you do that, and then you can create, and then you can then take that motivation and focus more on how you're going to take their largest financial asset, their highest stressful experience, and you're going to make it the smoothest, calmest it can possibly be, and get them to the situation that they want. That's where they make the emotional decision. And that's where you get past the marketing plan and the credentials that everyone else has the same thing for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. That's your true value. Your true value for your 5-6%, whatever you're charging, okay, 3% to you, whatever you want to pay to the buyer's agent, whatever that may be, the true value is that I can make this as calm, easy as possible. I can't make it calm and easy because there's a lot of stuff that's out of our hands. Okay. You could be the greatest real estate agent in the world, making things the calmest as possible, and the appraiser screws up, the inspector screws up, the title company screws up, somebody screws up, and it's like, ugh. But I can make it as calm and less stressful as possible. And then I can get you to where you need to be. Focus on the true motivation and keep going back to that. That's where you create the emotional difference. All right, mistake number 4, wasting too much time on deals you will never get. Wasting too much time on deals you will never get. It's not a sin to not get the deal. It's not a sin to not get the deal. However, it is a sin to dedicate a ton of time and still not get the deal. So stop wasting time on someone who will never close a deal with you. So this is a great line right here. It's a great line from Chris Voss. And I'll repeat it a couple of times so you can write it down. It takes as much time to lose a client and not get a deal. It takes as much time to lose a client and not get a deal as it takes to close 2 deals. It takes as much time to lose a client and not get a deal as it takes to close 2 deals. Or said another way, you could spend your time chasing a client who's on the hook, but won't ultimately lead you to a payday. Or you could cut them loose, optimize your approach, and close 2 different transactions in the same amount of time. See, part of negotiating is knowing when to walk away.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying walk away as part of a tactic of like, all right, you know, I'm going to do the pretend walk away so they know I'm serious. No. I'm like, no, seriously, walk away. Some deals are not worth it because some deals are not going to close. Well, you know, Robert, they've been expired 3 times, but I think I'm the one that can finally get them. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I don't have a lot of faith in you getting that, closing that transaction. No, I'm telling you. Okay, are you pricing it correctly? Well, no, we're still a little bit overpriced, but I think after a few weeks, we can finally get them down to the right price. Okay. So you're following up on this person, you're doing lead follow-up, you're door knocking them, you're sending them emails, you're setting them up on automatic campaigns, you're going on the presentation, you're trying to negotiate the price, you're doing all this time, effort, and energy for people that are either completely unrealistic or are never going to do a deal. Well, I got a seller lead, Robert. I'm following up, following up. When are they going to sell? Wow, I'm working on it. Stop working on it. They're either going to sell or they're not. This isn't that hard. Are they going to sell or are they not going to sell? Figure that out sooner. Because all the time and effort and energy you're spending on some of these deals is taken away from more deals that you could do. Or I like how Tony Smith said it one day when he said, have you ever had a 1-year anniversary with a lead? Who gets who flowers? You know, but we have it. And sometimes some of you get annoyed with me on coaching calls every so often because I'll say, tell me what's going on. And then you'll start jumping into leads. And I'm like, no, I want new leads. Tell me about new people. And you want to tell me about how you followed up on this lead that you've had for 3 months. And I just say, I want new people. Who do you got new? At some point, you got to cut them loose. Part of negotiation is being able to walk away when you know it's not going to work out. So there's this kind of neat little thing. This guy, Joe Polish from the Genius Network, believes there's 2 types of people you can work with. There's 2 types of people you can work with. And he labeled them as half people, HALF, or ELF people, ELF. Half people stands for hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. Hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And ELF people stands for easy, lucrative, and fun. Half, hard, annoying, lame, frustrating. ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun. Now, here's the thing. Every single one of you has access to both people. The difference is some of you find the half people and decide, I'm still going to spend a ton of time with them because maybe I can convert them. Maybe I can make something out of this. I can be the one, or I don't want to prospect anymore, so I'm just going to settle for these half people. And some of you find the half people and say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go find the ELF people because we all have access to both people. Every single one of you can call and find these people. You can door knock and find these people. They're in your database. Everyone has access to the same people.
What did ELF stand for again?
Easy, lucrative, fun. ELF. And when you're working with, now, let me ask you this. If you're working with hard, annoying, lame, frustrating people, are they going to grind you on commission?
All the time.
All the time. And that's what's going to get frustrating about negotiating. So you need to decide the type of people you want to work with. Now, let me preface it. Now, let me step back here for a second. For some of you, this is going to be harder than others because of where you're at in your career. Here's what I mean. Some of you might be at a stage in your career where you have enough business coming in from your database, or you have enough other sources of business where you can totally get rid of every possible lead that you don't think is any good because you have enough business coming in. Some of you might be at a point in your career where it's like, hey, look, I don't really have a database. I'm building my career, so I have to at least entertain some of these half people. You know, you have to decide what's best for you, but you need to, at some point, make a decision to work with people that you're going to have a better chance of closing a deal with. All right, mistake number 5, 2 more. Mistake number 5, as it says, beating around the bush. Beating around the bush. When it comes to telling the truth, agents will always face a common dilemma. If I tell the truth, I'll lose business because another agent will fudge the truth. Be honest. Have you ever, be honest, have you ever been a little bit concerned that you would lose a deal because another agent would kind of alter the truth a little bit? Have you ever been concerned about that? I have 100%. a little bit concerned about, gosh, how should I price this property? Because I know another agent's going to say they can get them 850. And so we're concerned about what price we offer, right? We're concerned about, different marketing things or things like that. We're concerned about how we should advertise ourselves because we think another agent might fudge the truth a little bit. Okay. But the reality is the best agents consider truth telling to be a core principle. They understand that people want to hear the truth and deliver on those expectations. That said, how you tell the truth matters, right? How you tell the truth matters. People do want to hear the truth, but they don't want to be hit with a brick in the face. So it's all about your tone of voice, your tonality, your upswings, your downswings. So let me give you an example. Well, the other agent, you're suggesting 850, but the other agent said they could get us 900. Well, that other agent's ridiculous. I mean, come on, 900. There's no way your home is worth $900,000. Well, that's really going to get the seller on your side. Come on, Mr. and Mrs. No way. Look at this place. Yeah, that'll do it. Right? They also don't want to hear you attacking another agent, that aggression. So you have to watch your tone. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, okay, I understand, but can I tell you why that makes me a little bit nervous? Well, sure. Well, if the other agent takes your listing now, they assume they can beat you up on price week after week after week. Is that what you want? Oh gosh, no. So I'm not aggressive. I'm not like hitting them hard in the face with my words or anything like that. I'm not annoyed. I'm simply just calm, cool, collected. I get it. Makes sense. But let's talk this through. Let's talk this through with some common sense. The best way to build the truth with a seller is through common sense. The best way to build truth with a seller is through common sense. For example, is exactly that. Well, the other agent said they could get me $900,000. Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, well, did they give you some comps? They gave me the comps. Okay, great. Are they different from the comps that I gave you? No. Okay. Based on the comps, where do you think the $900,000 is coming from? I mean, if I can sell it for 900, I'll sell it. No problem. I'm just curious, where did they get the 900 from? Well, I guess that makes sense. I showed you 4 comps. The highest one was 860, and it had a pool with a upgraded kitchen. Common sense will do that, but it has to be common sense. Can't be aggressive. That's where you lose your negotiating. Is when you get too aggressive. You either fudge the truth or you get too aggressive. Because when you fudge the truth, here's what happens. What if the seller finds out? So now imagine this. Let's reverse the scenario. Agent 1 says they can get $900,000 for the seller because they're trying to get the listing. You come in and you tell the seller, okay, great, well, based on the comps, do you think you can get $900,000? No. Well, I'm curious, where did that agent get the $900,000 from? Well, I don't know. Well, why don't you ask him? And then the seller goes to that agent and say, hey, I'm curious, based on these comps, it doesn't seem like my home's worth $900,000. Where'd you get that from? Then now that agent's lost all their well, the market's crazy and this and that, and I think we could do this. And then you know what they do? They stutter and they stumble, and then they go, but you know what? I tell you what, I'll just do it for 1%. Lost all negotiating power because they lied. They fudged the truth, and the seller caught it. Just be openly and honest. No, it's not worth this much. Yes, it is worth this much. I think we can do this. I think we can't. Okay? When you have bad news, let's be honest. Do you sometimes have to deliver bad news? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. don't pretend that you're not doing that. Okay. If you have bad news, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, okay, first thing is I got some, I have some news that's not very great for you. Okay. Or I'm afraid that I have some bad news. And then you give them the bad news and then come up with a solution afterwards. But if you just try to beat around the bush, so, well, did the appraisal come in? Well, the appraisal came in. We're a little question on the value. So we got some things we got to work around first. Robert, what was the goddamn price? Right? We're beating around the bush. We're trying to soften the situation. The appraisal come in. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the appraisal came in. Unfortunately, we got some bad news. It came in at $850, even though the price was $875. Okay, here's what that means. Humans are incredibly resilient when they think bad news is coming. It's when they're shocked with the bad news is when people get defiant, when they get angry, when they know it's coming. Brace yourself, right? And then when you know bad news is coming, you typically think it's the worst news ever, correct? That's most human emotion. I've got some bad news. We go, oh, Christ. Okay, hit me with it. And then you go, appraisal came in $5,000 below, we'll work it out. And it's like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I was expecting you to say, like, you found out that my house is on a sliding foundation, and we were going to have to, like, totally demolish it. Like, wow, you really jumped to that? But that's what people do. $5,000, nothing. Okay. They're resilient when they know the bad news is coming. They're defiant when they're shocked. Just don't beat around the bush. Be upfront. All right, then last one, mistake number 6. We'll go through this quickly because I know I'm a little over. Not knowing whether you're the favorite or the fool. Not knowing whether you're the favorite or the fool. Okay. Imagine this. You get a call from a seller. They want you to come to their house for a potential listing. When you show up for the appointment, either at the property or potentially on Zoom, you go in thinking there's a chance you can make the deal. But in the world of real estate transactions, there's no such thing as an open mind. In most cases, the client has already made up their mind, or at least made up their mind halfway. Okay. There's an old saying that tells us that if you don't know who the fool in the game is, it's probably you. So before sitting down for a long chat or driving to a property, you need to do some legwork to determine whether you're the favorite, the one who's likely to get the deal, or the fool, the one wasting time. If you're the fool, the prospective client is just looking for a competing bid and has no intention of actually signing a contract. So how do we figure that out?
Ask them.
Ask them, but like, what do we call that? What do we call that to figure out?
Pre-qualify at the beginning.
Pre-qualify.
Yeah.
Qualify.
When I
When I
go,
come out tonight, will you list with me when I come out tonight? No. Okay. No, I'm not going to sign with you. Are you planning to interview another agent? Yeah, we've already made up our decision. We've already made up our mind. We're going to work with a friend of ours. They've already helped us sign a bunch of other properties. Okay. Can I ask you a question? Sure. Why do you want me to go out there? Fair question to ask if the first 2 questions are, no, we're not going to sign with you and we're going to work with a friend of ours, instead of running out there and then finding that out. Pre-qualify. Help your negotiation process by pre-qualifying so you know if you're the favorite or the fool. Okay. If you can do that, not only will you save yourself time by not going on presentations that you shouldn't be on, but then you can also reverse your fortunes from favorite to fool. Because they say, are you planning to interview another agent for the job of selling your home? Yeah, we have a friend of ours. Now, if they have a friend, are you the favorite or is the friend the favorite?
the friend.
Probably friend.
Okay. Well, what's your friend's name? It's John Smith. Okay, great. Oh, from Remax? Yeah, cool. Now I'm going in not as the favorite, but I look up John Smith's track record and realize that John Smith hasn't sold anything in 2 years. And then I give them my track record, which 1 is better than 0 if you've only sold 1. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, John hasn't sold anything in 2 years. I'm a little curious why you decided to go with them. So now I can reverse my fortunes from fool to favorite. Okay. But I can only do that if I ask these particular questions. So instead of saying yes to the next appointment that falls in your lap, ask for a 15-minute phone call first to pre-qualify. Are they just talking to you? Are they talking to other agents? How many other agents? When are they interviewing you? When are they interviewing the other agents? Why
Robert.
haven't you chosen an agent? Yes.
That's a great point. I just did the pre-qualification for a listing appointment that I had this evening, and it turns out that he already had made up his mind. He was going to be selecting the other agents. So why even have me over? I mean,
Right.
if you already made up your mind. I said, obviously, Mr. Seller, I mean, you want a second opinion, right? No, not really. I mean, I'm going to, then why should I come on over? Why should I
Right.
waste my time, my gas, my family's time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect example. People do that. Some people just want confirmation.
Yeah, reassurance.
They either want confirmation or that's like, well, I guess we should just have a second person. So at least we say we interviewed a second person. But you don't have a shot. Pre-qualify, find out. Don't go on a presentation if you know you can't get it. Also, by playing favor to fool, you can be a fool by simply going on a presentation, even though they're not interviewing anyone else. You could also be the fool by going on a presentation for someone who's not going to sell. Yes, we're interested in, we might be interested in selling our home. We run out the door, get all suited up. All right. I'm so glad I'm here. And then they go, well, yeah, we appreciate everything you do. And so when we're ready to sell it, we'll let you know. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to be retiring this year. So we're probably going to be selling this in December. I'm so glad I'm out here on March 30th because there could possibly be no difference in the real estate market between now and December. So glad I spent all my time. That still makes you the fool. Okay. Questions on any of this stuff we went over today?
I wish I would have taken this class at the beginning of my career. It's the truth, Robert.
Well,
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
never too late. It's never too late. There you go.
I started here at the beginning of my career.
It's never
Robert, can
too
you
late. It's
complete
never too late.
the number 1? Complete that saying again. Nobody rises to the occasion, but
Nobody rises to the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
We fall. Where it is. Nobody rises to the occasion. We all fall to our highest level of preparation.
We all fall to our highest level of preparation. Okay. Highest level.
There you go. Good stuff. All right.